Peace, family. The other day I was listening to this black female pastor. She was giving a sermon and she was talking about her thanking God for slavery and thanking God for the crack house. When I heard this, I sent this message to my brother who happened to be a pastor. And he agreed with the sermon. And let me be clear. I understood perfectly what the woman was trying to say, no matter what she had to go through, as long as she ended up in a better understanding and following of God and His laws, then it's acceptable. I understand that fully. But I don't agree with it, though. Because, in my opinion, that is not how God wanted us to come to this understanding. He wanted us to do this as a nation. But before I get into that, let me play exactly what the pastor said, and you can form your own opinion if you attended church and heard your pastor admit this. How would you feel?
But the Jews own everything. I thank God for slavery. I thank God for the crack house. If it wasn't for the crack house, come on somebody, God wouldn't have never been able to use me how He can use me now. And if it wasn't for slavery, I might be somewhere in Africa worshiping a tree.
Like I said, I sent this to my brother, and one of his responses back, he had attached a scripture to it. And every time he does this, we have these conversations all the time. And I look up the scripture because I want to get a biblical understanding of why he believed what he believed. But this time I did not. And I want those who have watched this video up to this point that you didn't heard the sermon, read the scripture and ask yourself, and leave it in the comments if you can, does this scripture, Deuteronomy 32:30, justify this belief? If you were sitting in the church and you heard your pastor admit this, how would you feel? Now, my opinion on this is the fact that, like I said, this is not how God wanted us to come to this understanding. He wanted us to come to it as a nation. He wanted us to have free will and to choose this path. With this pastor preaching this sermon, she's speaking to those who survived the transatlantic slave trade. She's speaking to those who survived the addiction to drugs. And they happen to come to an understanding of Jesus Christ. But what about those who didn't? What about those who refused to give up their culture, their belief, their heritage, and were unalived in the transport? What about those who were so addicted to drugs that no matter what, they just couldn't shake this addiction? What about those people? So if you're going to give a sermon thanking God for slavery and thanking God for the crack house, are you also thanking God for the heroin dealer? Are you thanking God for the pimp, the numbers runner, the meth dealer? You know, are you thanking God for the underpaid job, for the high cost of living? Are you thanking God for the payday lender, the pawn shop, the depression, the cheating wife, the cheating husband? That you know, at what point does this nonsense stop? See, I think the church need to be focusing on the original intention that God established for us to come to an understanding of His people as a nation, and set our way of life apart from the world. Because see, this pastor, you didn't surrender to the world. You're in a system that don't respect you, and now you see yourself addicted to crack cocaine. And Lord knows what you had to do to keep feeding your addiction. So now when you drive past a crack house and you see somebody addicted to drugs, what goes through your mind? Oh, it's just a matter of time before they come to an understanding of God and they'll shake that addiction. How hard do you fight against getting this crack house, these heroin dealers, these meth pushers out of your community by following God? Because see, we are undisciplined people. And accepting God's words and understanding will make us a disciplined people. And then we can stand up and have communities where these things won't exist. And it separate us from society. I just do not like the glorification of this message being taught to people so that they look for ways to if they start to stumble down this path, then they can see their pastor as an example of, well, if she can be addicted to drugs, if she can be addicted to heroin, if she can be a prostitute or whatever, she can recover, come to understanding of God, and be a member of society, preach to the congregation. You know how many times people fail or don't even make it through that? So we got to. I'm not that type of person that's going to just try to make sense out of this. Like I said, I love the Bible, but I'm not. I don't believe in it that strongly. I'm nowhere near that strongly. I would rather see how people make a choice to be or to stay respectable, disciplined human beings that follow God's will. And not only practice it in our house, but practice it in our community to separate us from those who don't. As opposed to, like I say, accepting the drug dealers and just looking at them and being like, oh, they'll come to understand it sooner or later. A few more times, you know, sleeping outside, being beaten, being arrested, they'll come to, we can't teach our people like that. So, again, like I said, I'm in this video here. But like I say, look up that chapter and verse, Deuteronomy 32:30. Leave in the comments and see if this is something that you believe that this pastor should say. Would you still go to this church if you heard your pastor say this? You know, I would love to know that. But I'm in this video here. And as always, these are my thoughts, my opinions. I invite you to leave yours in the comments. And I'll see you in my next video. Ashe.